So what if you could make a Pixar-style film by yourself?
Wait, what?
Look at the lineup of successful 3D animated movies and it might seem impossible. Toy Story, Finding Nemo, The Incredibles, Up, Despicable Me, these animated films and others have solidified their place in popular culture. As the technology has improved, companies like Disney, Pixar, and DreamWorks have been steadily releasing computer-generated 3D animations that have captured the attention and adoration of kids and even grown-ups everywhere. Consider that in 2018 alone, CGI movies brought in over $2 billion in box office revenue, and that figure doesn't even factor in the new Wreck-It Ralph, which released to huge numbers this week. Plus a new Spider-Man flick due out next month. These two could potentially draw in well over another billion. Not to mention the unspeakable amount in home movie sales, toys and merchandise, and, the occasional Macy's Thanksgiving Day parade blimps. Point is, 3D animated movies, even the not-so-good ones, rake in a ton of money, and they're here to stay. And while making a live-action independent film isn't too out of the question these days, making a movie grounded in CGI appears, at least on the surface, too much for the average creator to handle. Traditionally, the biggest hurdle to making animated movies has been that, compared to live action, they take a much longer time to produce. After all, you need a skilled team of animators working for a long space of time, and the technological constraints to rendering quality images means your production schedule will undoubtedly take several years longer than shooting a film in the real world, and traditionally speaking, CGI films can only be made by successful animation houses with top-notch talent. Think of all the complicated action, motion capture, set and character design, and the time needed to render every frame to perfection. Do-it-yourself Pixar seems like an impossible dream, right? Well, what if I told you that all of this is changing? You're probably aware that live-action films went through an independent revolution when the technology needed to make such movies became available to smaller teams and eventually individual artists. Nowadays, the average American walks around with a phone in their pocket that has way more capabilities than film cameras had during Hollywood's golden age. Modern platforms like YouTube have made it to where essentially anyone can become a filmmaker if they're willing to learn the craft. What you might not know is that over the past decade, the same revolution has slowly yet surely been happening for 3D animation. The technology needed to produce CGI films previously kept out of the hands of the common creator is becoming ubiquitous. It might sound crazy, but with every passing day, it's becoming easier and easier to create your own animated movie. We can lay this DIY revolution at the feet of three main things: improvements to hardware, software, and the development of online communities. In terms of hardware, you don't have to have been alive for too long to know that home computer specs are continuously improving, becoming more powerful and affordable day after day. The hardware used to design many popular 3D films is becoming more powerful and affordable as well. With more bang for your buck, technologies like facial and body motion capture are now available to independent creators. Tools that at one time were reserved only for top-end studios can now be picked up for the price of a high-end DSLR and used by anybody. Even something as seemingly complicated as a render farm, a high-performance cluster of computers meant to print the fully realized frames of each animation, can be rented and used for a relatively low cost. There was a time when this type of hardware was only available inside of a Hollywood studio, but now if you, the indie creator, want it, you can get it. We live in a world where even cell phones have enough processing power to create three-dimensional computer-generated imagery. You can literally make an animated movie in the palm of your hand. These gizmos and gadgets, they'll only continue to improve as the years go by, and this is a win for every DIY animator out there. When you couple these innovations with the advancements in animation software, the possibilities branch out even further. 3D applications are cheaper, more powerful, and more user-friendly than ever. Big-name software packages like Maya, Max, and Cinema 4D are no longer reserved for for multi-million-dollar movie studios. Even more affordable options like iClone, Daz, and Poser are these days bundled with third-party applications that can take renders from these packages to the next level. And there are plenty of free options as well. Source Filmmaker, Blender, and even Plotagon, if used right, can produce stunning images and powerful stories. There was a time when animation technologies like ray tracing, hair and cloth simulation, accelerated global illumination, and subsurface scattering were simply unheard of for a one-animator production. But now, if even a low-end animation application lacks any of these things, the animator will shake their head in disappointment. The fact that this amazing animation software is available for free is astounding for me to think about. I mean, even complicated technology like facial mocap can be found on an iPhone. My assistant and I can put computer-generated emoji over our faces in real time during our weekly production meetings. Things have come a very long way. Now factor in that each of these applications has spawned their own dedicated communities geared toward continually pushing the technology to its absolute limit. You'll start to realize very quickly the potential. Obviously, online distribution platforms like YouTube, Vimeo, and other video-on-demand services mean that getting your CGI movie in front of an audience is easy peasy, but the real benefit comes from the countless amounts of fellow animators that now band together over the World Wide Web. CGI communities share assets, tips, and tricks, and work collaboratively to produce high-quality projects. If you aren't a modeler, for instance, there are plenty of online services that can provide you with cinema-quality characters and scenes for little to no cost. Maybe you aren't the best animator. No worries, readily made animation packages can be easily imported into rigged models, and within no time at all, you'll have a fully realized 3D animated character before your eyes, and there's an entire community to help you every step of the way. For those who prefer to go it alone, user-generated online tutorials are readily available for practically any kind of hardware or software-related question one may have. The point is, getting into 3D animation is easier than ever. When I started, the educational literature was extremely limited. Practically anything I wanted to do, I had to learn through trial and error. And often that meant learning how to do things the wrong way. Today, if you need to know how to do something in a 3D program, you can check extensive software documentation, plug your question into Google, or if all else fails, just hop onto an animator forum and straight up ask. Before you know it, somebody will put you on the right track, and you'll be one step closer to producing your masterpiece. All of these factors mean that when it comes to making a 3D animated movie, it's no longer a question of how much money is in your pocket, but instead, how much time you're willing to invest. The next great generation of animators is out there. They're working from home, honing their craft, slowly yet surely plugging away and creating beautiful works of art that could only have been dreamt of just a decade ago. And the good news is, if you want to join them, you don't have to go looking very far. These days, they're only a click away. Interested in learning animation yourself? Then you might check out this video's sponsor, SKILLSHARE. They're an online learning community with over 20,000 classes in business, technology, and, specific to your needs, creative design. Premium membership gives you unlimited access to high-quality classes so you can improve your skills, unlock new opportunities, and do the work you love, including this class by Oliver Villar, the founder and instructor at BlendTuts. His crash course for beginners will show you the ins and outs of Blender, an amazing free 3D software. He'll show you the basics to learn the software interface, and in just 2 hours, you'll create your first scene and get hands-on experience with modeling, rendering, and compositing. In fact, if you want to join the millions of students already learning on Skillshare, I'm going to hook you up with this special offer: 2 months of Skillshare for free. To sign up, visit the link in the description and you'll get 2 months of unlimited access to these over 20,000 classes. You need to act right now for this special offer. You can start learning today. If you want to see some amazing work done in Blender, or hear the story of how PIXAR accidentally deleted Toy Story 2 during production, check out these videos. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe to my channel for more. Or don't. I don't really care.